I said, I was seeking God. And he said to me, well, did you find him? And I said, at times. And that was the truth of the situation. At one time, I'd feel completely abandoned, and then the next moment, I would feel God's presence. I mean, really, like I've never felt before. So anyway, we get to my son and nephew take me to a motel, and we slept there overnight, but I phoned the house, and I'm crying, and they're all saying they're so glad they found me and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, that time at 9 o'clock the night before, that was the time that they discovered I didn't get off the plane at O'Hare, to be picked up. And also what I found out is the Indians in that area knew I was missing, so they had some kind of a powwow, and they were praying for me, which was fantastic. When I was organizing this, a word came in my head, and it's a fascinating word, because it sort of describes what I went through. And the word is, let me see, I have it here somewhere, but it's terrific. Terrific. You know, the first meaning of the word is causing great fear, dismay, terrifying, dreadful, appalling. That's the first definition of it. Next definition, which is colloquial, is unusually great, intense, severe. And the third is unusually fine, admirable, enjoyable. Now these all seem contradictory. They all seem contradictory. And yet, they meld. Beauty and terror go hand in hand. There's another thing I want you to remember through this, which is a theme. And maybe you've said this at Mass. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death to life. Okay, what came out of the trip? The first misadventure. Well, the first thing that came out of it, my boss said I was one of the most outstanding men that ever worked for him. And then they asked my wife, why they asked her that. They said, did he have any tattoos? Apparently, if you have tattoos, there's a better chance of you going to the Grand Canyon and killing yourself. That's the connection, whatever it is. Okay? And she says, no, he's the Brooks Brother type. My artist friends thought that was sort of funny. But anyway, it was like that. And then I come home, and then CBS, and they cover me again. And Burley Hines, I don't know if you remember that newscaster, he has me on his program, and the title of the program was The Man Who Beat the Canyon. So he's got this whole thing, just be natural. I said, what, so I go on, and I said right away, I said, let's get one thing straight. The canyon beat me. I'm lucky I'm here. God save me, that kind of thing. Okay, so anyway, then my friend John Blades, who was the book editor of the Tribune, and we both had written some film scripts together and everything else. John wrote an article about the mano y mano in the Grand Canyon, man to man in the Grand Canyon. It was about me, and it covered, what a goof I am and all that kind of stuff. And that was fine. And then we have the presence of the producer of my misadventure, and she's here right now, Pat Lofthouse. Pat, stand up there. And it was wonderful. It was on a program. It was on a program called The Unexplained. This was a mystery thing. And then No Place to Hide was the subtitle. Okay. Then 2 years later, the Discovery Channel did it. And I played myself both times. I go back there and that kind of thing. Well, what came out of this as far as, my life, my spiritual life? Well, you know, all of the virtues you're supposed to have. You know, I had to live to survive. I mean, I had to have patience or go nutty, because when you're out on your own, you know, you've heard of the word panic. You know, it comes from pan, and the Greeks knew that if you were stranded in the woods, you got panicky when you were faced with the wilderness, you know. And so I had to learn patience, courage, you know. Courage is, you know, another thing I had to tough it out. But you can't do it alone. Wisdom starts with fear of the Lord. We don't like to hear that. Modern man doesn't like to hear that. But as I said, you know, with the word terrific, that we've watered that down. The original meaning was much tougher, much tougher. And we all, before we die, we're going to go through some, or if we haven't already, we're going to go through those moments. But Shakespeare has a wonderful line about that. He says, adversity is like the toad. While it looks ugly and venomous, it wears a jewel in the center of its forehead. In some way, somehow, through all that torment that I was going through, it opened me up. And it's helped me understand others, and that's about it.
Bill, could you share with us what the Native Americans of the area told you about who they believe?
Oh yeah, this ancient Indian woman. You saw the mother of the canyon, our blessed mother. That's what they always said. That was their thing. Any other questions? Yeah.
What made you choose the Grand Canyon for this little sojourn?
Oh, yeah.
Did you research it with
No,
that?
you know what it was? There's a fellow marathon runner from, we were living in Park Ridge at the time. Her name is Lori Rossi. And she lived, you know, on the southwest side of Park Ridge. And we jog every weekend. And I asked her, I said, you know, I love nature. What if you were to bring, if you had some foreign visitors, where would you take them for nature loving, you know, to communicate with nature and all that? He says, no doubt about it, Grand Canyon. And she said, and take, you know, don't take the sissy angels, bright angel path. Take a rougher one, the Hermit's, Hermit's Trail, you know, which I did take, and then cursing him afterwards and all that. But yeah, that's what motivated me to do it.
Did you make it to your daughter's wedding?
Yes, I did. And you want to know what was sunny there? We're at this, I think it was the Chicago Athletic Club. And after this ordeal, and I'm sort of looking at the world thinking, what fools these mortals be. You know, they don't know, you know, I'm in bliss now, and they're having a good time, but, you know, I'm centered.